Hello and welcome to this Penno Channel for this match review of Aston Villa 2, West Ham 1 in the FA Cup. Um, what a result. Villa winning in the FA Cup. Doesn't happen much, even though last year, and I think people forget and I forgot as well, we beat Middlesbrough in the third round and we actually played another two games in the fourth round, drawing with Chelsea away and ended up losing at home, didn't we? But yeah, I seem to forget that because previous years we just get knocked out in the third round, don't we? But last night we won. We won, beating a Premier League side as well. And on the celebration in the 150-year anniversary. So yeah, it was a special night. And Villa ended up getting the win. Before we get into this one, as always, if you could like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, it's really appreciated. And also get your comments in the chat if you are watching live. And yeah, we'll go through this one together because for a lot of it, it was shit, but Villa picked it up and they got the result in the end. So let's start off with my ordeal and my situation regarding it. Thought I'd had tickets about a month ago, thought I'd ordered them. Clearly hadn't. So went on the website on Thursday night, managed to pick up a ticket in K3, so not where I usually sit. Got my ticket and then ended up not going because of other circumstances. So there was an empty seat in K3, that was mine. But yeah, missed out on the game last night. I was pretty gutted, to be honest, because obviously with the events that were going on and stuff, it's a memorable game. But yeah, wasn't able to get there, and so I ended up watching it from home. And yeah, thoughts on the game then. First of all, from what I've heard regarding the events that happened prior to the game, obviously there was like a ball, like an evening night at a museum, which seemed rather nice for those selected and invited. Many Villa players of the past going there. Obviously, the new kit came out. It's going to be hit and miss. It's always going to be that way. I like the kit. I like the badge. I like the style of it. I like the all black. But some people are going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it, and that's fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinion on that sense. They also then did the £1.50 stuff around the ground, some additional merchandise for that as well. So there was some effort put into it, and yeah, it seemed like a spectacle from what I was watching on the TV. Obviously, the displays which Villa Park is synonymous for now around the ground, especially before Champions League nights as well. It's been a big factor of that. And then yeah, we moved on to the game, and obviously being Graham Potter's first game in charge, new manager bounce, we're going to be up against it. Back to back, we're up against, obviously, with David Moyes now being the Everton manager. It's going to be a fun game next week at Goodison because they're going to be well up for that. But yeah, Graham Potter only recently becoming the West Ham manager. Set up in a way that it seemed to me they were looking to sit deep. They're playing Souček and Alvarez in midfield. That's two sitters, really. They started the youngster at left back. They had Mavropanos and Kilman at centre backs, and then they went with the usual names of Kudus, Paqueta. No boy Bowen, he was injured, and then Fulcrook up top and Somerville, and obviously the whole ordeal with John Duran in the summer and him being close to going to West Ham, and then eventually signing Fulcrook. It was interesting that he started because he's only just recently started to get back into the side for injury, and how he was going to perform against us. In regards to us, it was a game which I'm happy Unai took seriously. He went full strength, pretty much, except for Emi Martinez, who picked up an injury prior to that in the day and wasn't selected. Then hopefully just rested for this game and will be back fit for Everton. But yeah, Rob Olsen started, and then we went with Matson, Mings, Konza, Cash at right back. And then we had Kamara, Tillemans and Barkley operating in the midfield. So I think that's something we do more at home because with the home side playing Tillemans and Barkley within that, it's more attacking, better ball players, I think, than Onana actually is. So I wasn't surprised to see Onana on the bench. And then obviously we had Bailey, Watkins and Rogers playing in that three. So yeah, going into this one, I was confident because we went strong, even though it was Graham Potter's first game as manager. I hadn't had that long to look after that West Ham side. It'd only been one day or something in one's training session he'd taken, so I was confident within that. We've had time to analyse, the players that they do have. We played them at the start of the season already, and we won at the Olympic Stadium, and we played very well that game as well. And I thought what was going to be interesting, what was going to be pivotal, was how we'd use Ian Maatsen within the game, because he's a different prospect to Luca Dean. Luca Dean's good on the ball, but drops deeper in that sense. Maybe a bit better defensively. I don't know. We need to see more Maatsen in that positioning to see if he is on the level of Digne in defensive actions. But I think going forward, it's totally different. Digne will cross the ball from deeper, look to whip it in, whereas Maatsen, he'll get further forward. He'll go past the fullback. He'll look to square the ball back, and can also cross the ball. So yeah, I think he has a bit more of a threat going forward in that sense, because he can beat his man. He has the pace, and you can play that ball over the top. Now that's the positives before a ball was kicked and what I was expecting. From that point onwards, Villa were shocking. That first half was shocking, and it's one of those things that we've been saying in recent times. The last few games, I think, at Villa Park, every game's been the first half's been poor. Villa have been poor in the first half. I think Southampton, you could say that for. Leicester at times, similar. And then obviously West Ham yesterday was probably the worst of it. 0 shots on target in that first half. 0 shots in that first half. Had more possession, obviously. It was like 65 to 35%. But yeah, no shots, no big chances, no nothing, no creation. It was poor. And fans watching it after, the build up to the game and sitting there watching that game must have just been like, what's going on here? You're live on TV, FA Cup, 3rd round, at home, 50th anniversary celebration, turn up, and we didn't. We literally froze in the cold. The players froze, and yeah, it was poor. And a few reasons for that, I think, in that first half. The big one, and the one was really like getting on my nerves within that, was the release of the ball to Maatsen. Now, we'd play it down the right, we'd drag West Ham's shape over to their left-hand side, and we'd create acres of space for Maatsen. And when the ball went back to the CDBs, whether it was Konza or Mings, their passing to Maatsen was just so delayed. It was either that Maatsen was offside because they'd taken so long to play the ball over the top, or Maatsen was dropping deep and the ball was going behind him, so he'd have to drop back and check his run. The passing was poor to him. It really was. And it was so slow. The build-up was so slow and tepid. The tempo was just, it wasn't there. It was non-existent. Yuri didn't have the best first half. He was playing a bit further forward in that half, and his passing was poor. Remember, he had the opportunity to slide onto Bailey in the box, and yeah, it wasn't great. Watkins isolated, plus he didn't really move. He was stationary. I think the cold was getting to him. Rogers couldn't locate his first touch. Bailey and Cash, no real threat down that right hand side, which we've seen a number of times this season. And I think, yeah, the team as a whole, collectively, were shocking. It was a poor first half performance, and one you can just write off, man, because the main action all came from West Ham, and their first goal was a very good goal on transition. I think Maatsen is caught because he's further forward up the pitch, and then yeah, they just play through us, and it's a nice pull back to Paqueta, and he's put it past Olsen, who's rooted to the spot. He's gone past the defender as well, and it's like Villa again have conceded from their first shot on target faced in a game. I think, shout out to Stato on Twitter, I think that's the 14th game this season we've done that. Now, how many games we played this season? I think we've played 20 in the league, 6 in the Champions League, and a few cup games. That's almost half the games we've done that in. So yeah, that is not a good stat at all. That is not a good. To be honest, I don't know what it means, because like, are we set up in a shape where we're not allowing teams to have that many shots on target, or there must be something in it where their first shot on target is going in? Because we do leave a lot of big chances. Statistically, we leave a lot of big chances, but we don't concede many chances. So when we do concede chances, they're usually big opportunities to score. So that may be one factor in the reason why when teams are having their first shot on target, they are getting the goal a lot of the times, because we don't concede low bearing chances statistically. It's usually high percentage chances to score if we do concede chances. So that may be some, logical reasoning towards that. But yeah, it's just a simple goal, and it gives West Ham the lead. It plays into their hands because they've caught us on transition, and that was something they'd continued to threaten with throughout that half. It also gave them a bit of life. Potter's first game, taking an early lead, through them not really doing anything, really, us allowing it to happen. Yeah, it wasn't the best, man. It wasn't the best at all. And obviously, with the West Ham fans having the whole of the upper dug, they must have been creating some noise there, because yeah, that's a decent allocation for them, and to go 1-0 up within the first 9 minutes, it's big for them. Ryan's in the chat, says, "Evening, mate. Thanks for joining, Ryan." He says, "The kit was quality. Haven't seen anyone who said it's not great yet myself." Yeah, I like the kit as well. I think I've seen a few opinions saying that it wasn't the best, but everyone's entitled to have that opinion. For me, I like it. I like it. The badge, it's slick, and I've cut one because I do like it that much. Ryan also says, "Really like the names not being on the back. Thought it was really smart." Yeah, fairs. I didn't get a number on. I wish I did. No, looking back on it, I wish I did get a number on the back as well. But I didn't get one in the end. I don't know if you guys did in the chat, but yeah. Ryan, Paqueta rolling around the whole time was winding me up. Yeah, Paqueta's a joker. Obviously, he showed some of the best sportsmanship I've ever seen when Leon Bailey went down. I've never seen many players do that. I remember the Paolo Di Canio one from Sheffield Wednesday days when the ball came in. Was it Sheffield Wednesday or was it West Ham then? I think it was against Everton when he crossed the ball in. The ball got crossed in and the player was down, and he handballed it, and to start play for the player who went down injured. But yeah, Paqueta just stopping play, kicking it out. When Bailey, he was a bit innocuous. He'd kind of slipped, and I don't think he was even injured after it. He got back up, but yeah, to kick it out, I thought I'll allow him one dive throughout the game. So he'd done one initially in the first half. I thought that's it now. That covers for you putting the ball out of play. But he continued to do so throughout the game, and yeah, Paqueta, he was loving hitting the deck. I don't know why, because it was freezing. So I don't know why he was hitting the grass. He must have been damp and freezing. So I don't know why he continued to do so. But yeah, he was doing that, and I do like. It is funny because West Ham were one of the fan bases that used to get onto us about Grealish a lot. Always used to. I do remember it. I remember that one game in COVID where I think Grealish went down. He got kicks in another area, and he went down holding his shin. And he did dive, to be fair. Can say that looking back. And West Ham fans are onto it, always calling out Grealish and stuff. So it's funny now they're in that position because Paqueta is a grade A diver and he's good at it. Dave says the kit looked really smart. Yeah, I agree. And thanks for joining, Dave. Thanks for joining, Rachel. She says evening or she likes the kit a lot as well. Yeah, it's smart. I think it is smart. And obviously there's so many things and designs that you could do, but they've taken it from the 1878 to 1880 kit with obviously the red line in the centre and the black shirt as well. Matched it with the white shorts. No, it was nice. I did like it. One thing regarding that though was them playing in that kit, they acted like they hadn't seen each other before or played with each other before in that first half. It was a madness. It was shocking. It was literally like they'd gone down goals and people had just, arranged the game. A bunch of strangers and they'd pick the sides. That's how they played. There was just no coherency in the play whatsoever. There wasn't really much to defend thereafter. West Ham had a couple of chances in that first half, but it was more the attacking play, the movement between the lines, having a player who can drop deep and receive the ball and play for the lines, which was a big change in the second half, which we'll get onto with Yuri Tillemans, but not having that in the first half. And I think we lost that potentially with Ross Barkley going down and getting injured. That's not a good thing. Again, another injury after Powell and McGinn having Ross out now for a few weeks. I think we've got something like six games, have we, in like 2 weeks or something like that, which is a lot of football. And you want to have as many players available as possible, and it looks like we won't have those 3 players for that. The middle of the park now reduces the numbers. No McGinn playing off the left or the right. McGinn can play anywhere at times, and now no Barkley as well. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on Kamara, Tillemans, and Onana within the middle of the pitch now to produce. So yeah, that is a big loss because Ross Barkley, he's come up with some massive goals, hasn't he? One being the last game in the league as well against Leicester. So yeah, shame for Barkley because he's really found his feet this season. I think he was actually our signing of the summer, to be honest. 5 million for the contribution he's made. I think he has been that. But yeah, hopefully he gets back soon because he's a great utility player, a great player to call upon as well. And it's a shame that he's not going to Goodison Park next week as well, because again, we have a number of ex-Evertonians playing for Villa currently in Luca Dean and Amadou Onana, and also Ross Barkley. So yeah, but yeah, first half. Any other talking points from that? Again, as I say, just the build-up was so slow. Once West Ham took the lead, they just sat in their shape. They sat in their shape really well, to be honest. Wan-Bissaka really good on the right, playing right back, and the young boy playing as the left back as well. He did a real good job down that right-hand side. He was nullifying anything Leon Bailey was offering. And also Matty Cash, even when he tried to go forward with the ball as well, he was really locking them down. And we couldn't create nothing really from that side. I remember the one bit of play which was really good was when Cash put the ball across down that right hand side, and Watkins should have been in the position. As I said, this is what I mean. Watkins was really not on it in the first half. There was no movement in and around the box or outside the box. And I understand it outside the box a bit because sometimes he's instructed by United to stay in between, the 18 yard. But even in the box, he didn't move when that ball came across. He was static, and it was actually a decent ball, but they cleared it away fine. I thought Somerville showed really good defensive actions as well for West Ham down our left-hand side, and yeah, they were really doubling up at times on Ian Maatsen, and that's what caused problems because the ball wasn't getting to Maatsen quick enough down that side, and when it did, there was either 2 men on him, he was either offside, or he was having to drop back really deep to receive the ball and play. So we played into their hands. We did. Offered no threat first half at all, and yeah, it was comfortable. And West Ham had some more opportunities on transition. Before Paqueta had that shot, which I remember, which just went wide. That wasn't even in the first minute. Yeah, it was poor. It was really poor, and it took us a while. It took us a while to play because I was not happy with that first half, and I was thinking, boy, you're wearing the 1878 kit, could do with some of them players come to play in this side at second half. I thought, especially when half time came, you had all the the legends as such on the pitch. It's freezing. It was one of the coldest nights on record. Last night was, and they're on the pitch clapping the players back onto the pitch for the second half. And I thought, you have to put in a performance here. You've got the whole anniversary celebrations. You've got the legends who are probably freezing to death on the pitch, clapping you back on after you've just given that first half performance. Now they had to step it up second half, and they did. Let's talk about what changed then through that second half. Obviously, in the first half, Amadou came on for Barkley. Forecourt got injured for them, and Danny Ings, Mr. Clinical, came on the pitch, and he was ever so clinical in that second half, wasn't he? And also they made a defensive change as well. They changed it up a bit. Somerville came off. I'm not sure, it potentially was for an injury, but then they doubled up with 2 right backs down that right side, didn't they? And Wan-Bissaka kind of played higher ahead of Kufal. I thought that was quite smart at the time from Potter in terms of they knew we were going to attack down the left, so why not double up with the 2 right backs? Well, and Wan-Bissaka playing more as an auxiliary, like right midfielder as such, but his defensive actions are quite good, even though he is lacking a bit, in his attacking threat. I thought that was fair from Potter to do that, because it did seem as if the only way we would break them down is if we played the ball quick enough to our left side. So yeah, Going from that, and just a few comments within here. Flange says, evening all, can't listen live tonight, but we'll be listening back tomorrow morning. Appreciate that, Flange. Thank you for the comment. Ryan says, Mings not putting Matson in was killing me. 100% with you on that one. They did change it in the second half at least. Yeah, facts. He was so frustrating because I was thinking he has so much space, and the area he had to attack in it must have been about 30 yards, and there was no one close to him, and the ball was just slow progression. If they played it sooner and played it in ahead of him instead of behind him, he would have had acres of space to cause a threat. Ryan also saying, I think Mings was getting booed for how slow his passing was. Yeah, I don't know about booing and stuff, but the jeering and that. But yeah, I hear it though. Like Mings and Conte. I think Conte had opportunities where he played the cross field and it was too slow, and Wan-Bissaka was like winning the headers and cutting it out. Rachel said, yeah, perfect plan by West Ham. Yeah, it was indeed. It was to invite us forward. They knew we had to play through them, and then when they won the ball, they were going to transition quick on us. Dave Finn said West Ham were closing us down well and forcing us to keep going back. We did. They did. Their defensive shape was really good, and we found it tough. And as I said, I think that was more to do with maybe some positional tweaks which happened in the second half in regards to Yuri Tillemans and just us not playing when the pass was on down the left side, not playing it quick enough. Duncan's joined. Thanks for joining, Duncan. He says evening all. He also says great to be in the hat tomorrow. It is indeed. Also, Birmingham City and Wolves are in the hat as well. Anyone fancy any of those in the next round? Rachel saying Emery tweaked tactically and his subs were affected. Very good. Yeah, facts. Agree. Duncan also saying looking good on Marlon and Mingway. So yeah, well, Monchi was out in. Monchi didn't fancy the celebrations last night. He had work to do. He was attending to business. He was at Rayo Vallecano versus Celta Vigo. What a game to go to in La Liga. I think we've been linked to Andre Ratiu and Oscar Mingueza as well. So he was watching two right backs go at it in a game, which was kind of destroyed because there was an early red card in it, and Rayo Vallecano went on to win, but Celta had an early red card and might have just killed the game a bit. But yeah, Monchi was out in Spain watching that instead of watching Villa, so there must be some discussions going on, and some talks must have taken place last night. Ryan said weird first half. Yeah, it was weird. It was worse than Southampton and Leicester for sure. That was shocking, that first half. It really was shocking. Kevin's joined. Thanks for joining. He said introduction of Ramsey with his combination with Matson's was the difference alongside Buendia. I totally agree with you, Kevin. Rachel also says, yeah, although slightly concerned that Mingueza may not come, it's in his hands with a young family. He may not come, Duncan. Yeah, Mingueza and you saying with a young family and stuff like that. I remember Zubimendi obviously turned down Liverpool, didn't he? Because of his affiliation to Sociedad, and he didn't want to move. He didn't want to leave the country. And that some players, you know, they're happy. They're happy where they are. You can offer them more money and stuff, but if they're happy where they are, they won't come. Ryan says, not convinced with Marlon. Seen a Dortmund podcast saying basically they're having our pants down if they get a €30 million deal done. Ryan, fair enough, but one thing I say from that is I remember a Championship podcast saying Villa had their pants down for Morgan Rogers. Literally the same words, so we'll see what happens regarding to that. And is it €30 million? I don't know if there's confirmation on how much he's going to be. It probably will be rising to somewhere like 25 to 30 million. But I don't know. There's some qualities on Marlon that I do like, and I think we lack those in that position. Rachel, I'm inspired by Marlon. Yeah. Ryan also says all the subs did well. They did indeed. Duncan says Marlon's quality and far better ball retention than Bailey. I don't know. I don't think that's Marlon's game as such. I think Marlon's game is directness, and he has his shots. The positioning that he gets in the box where he takes his shots is very good. He has a very, very good XG within that. So if he can get him into the right positions, we should score a few goals. Rachel saying I'm uninspired by Marlon. So change of tune there. Nah, I think Marlon would be a decent signing. Kevin says Mingueza will come, Rachel. Trust Emery and Monchi. Bailey was amazing in Germany too, says Ryan. But Bailey, Marlon, Diaby, we have an affinity for a right-sided German player. Right-sided player from the Bundesliga, should I say. And Ryan saying, for me, not convinced. Emery knows best, though, so I trust it. Yeah, we'll see how he develops. I'm sure that's another project for Emery to work with. We saw Moussa Diaby as a right winger, played second striker, and a position he'd never played before. And albeit Diaby was hit and miss at times, his goal return and his numbers are very good for that. And they were so good, even though it's from Saudi, that we got our money back. And I think there was a little bit on top of it. So, yeah, we'll see what happens and what plans Unai has for Marlon if and when he does come into the side. So, yeah, second half then. Total transformation, wasn't it, really? Did take another 20 minutes or so to get to that point. But I thought from the off, we were getting Marlon on the brain. Another Dortmund player, ex-Dortmund player. Maatsen was getting to good positions in the box. He had an early shot, which he kind of mishit, totally air shot it. And I was thinking at the time, I've been waiting for Maatsen to get in these positions in the box. And the first shot he's had, he's absolutely just sliced it, shanked it wide. It was like, that's not what I want to see. That's not what I want to see at all. But a bit more into that, he started getting into the game. Now, the one big thing that did happen before we get into the other subs that came on, who came on the 72nd-ish minute. But one thing that started to happen was Tielemans was starting to drop a bit deeper, which is something we'd missed in that first half. Kamara's quality on the ball at times, and Onana, I don't think him on the ball is his strength. I think winning the ball is more of his strength, and he can progress the ball as well. But playing through the lines isn't his. So when Yuri drops a bit deeper, he can pick that pass out through the lines. I remember against Man City, that was something he did perfectly. Think of the first goal against City, the way Tielemans received the ball in our own half, turned and played the ball first time through to Rogers. He was starting to do that similar again, playing through the lines. And with that, Villa started to create chances. Just reviewing back on what those were. Rogers had the shot from outside the box, went over the bar. Should have done better with that chance, actually. Bailey and Maatsen had a few shots as well, which were blocked. Yuri Tielemans had that shot across the box, which was wide, which we should have got a corner for, and would lead into the net to our first goal of the game. But we should have got a corner for that. He clipped Souček's foot. So I shouldn't be hearing no complaints from West Ham fans in regard to that. Watkins then had a shot blocked from that corner. And we were really starting to get into the game. We really were starting to get into the game. And we were opening up West Ham. West Ham, I don't know what happened. Their shape kind of dropped. I think it was us playing a lot better and moving the ball a lot quicker and playing through the lines from a deeper position, as well as West Ham were not as aggressive in their press. They kind of dropped off a bit more, didn't they? They weren't as aggressive in their press, and there's a bit more spaces and gaps appearing within the middle of the pitch. Now, that could be because their press was so aggressive in the first half, and they were getting so many men to the ball, they might have got tired out, which happens a lot. And if you think about Villa games this season especially, think how many times we played teams and we'd thought that the first half was rubbish, and then the last 20 minutes we've had about 10 chances to score. It's happened quite a lot. It happened of recent times. Leicester, we should have made that 3-4. Southampton, we should have made that 3-4. I think Bournemouth, even though we scored, we had a few more chances to win that, because especially those teams that sit back, we tire them out with the passing because they're just having to run across. They try and press. And then it's no coincidence that in the last 20, 25 minutes, Villa start getting loads of chances because there's so much space, because the opposition have got tired. And I think that did play a part in it last night as well, for sure, because there was so much more space in the last 20, 25 minutes for Villa to play through. And I think that was down to West Ham being so on us in the first half and kind of dropping off because of tiredness, which happens as a game. And if you keep passing the ball and you're chasing, you have minimal possession, you're going to start to tire, especially if you come out of your shape. And I think that did start to happen. And the big thing for me last night was the subs that came on. Emery made the subs and timed it perfectly in that regard. I mean, all three of them, and Amadou as well, so let's say all four of them, had a part to play in that second half. They really did. So yeah, substitutes, and obviously mentioned Ross Barkley went off for Onana. Then the changes were the right hand side really changed. Kamara came off. He was playing like right at the midfield too. Cash and Bailey came off, and Unai brought on Nadalkovic, JJ, and Emi Buendia. And it's good to see Emi Buendia starting to get minutes now. You know, he's 10, 15 minutes towards the end of games when we need goals. And I think when Emi Buendia's been on the pitch last year, we scored as well. So Rogers moved across to like the right. He was kind of playing in the right, but dropping inside as well. JJ after left. And then we had Nadalkovic as right back, and then Emi kind of went into that 10 role, didn't he? And it allowed Tielemans to drop even further and actually play there naturally. And it's all from, you know, us starting to play at that point. We get a lucky corner, Onana in the box. He has a shot, goes miles wide. It wasn't a corner at all. He was kind of being pulled at the time as well, so it would have been interesting to see if that would have been. If that would have been a penalty if there was VAR in it. Also, what was your thoughts on VAR not being a part of the game? Was it better or worse for it? I actually quite liked it, to be honest. But yeah, was it better or worse? I think that's more to do because we won in that. I think if I was a West Ham fan, you'd probably say you didn't like it. But what was your thoughts with no VAR in the game? But yeah, as I said, we started to really play it from that point. We get the corner, and yeah, it's a nicely worked set piece. I think there's something to do with it playing short. Like I think Bailey's put that cross in the right place because Mings comes short for the ball, and as he comes short, he kind of flicks it on. We saw similar movement for the Man City effort that Pau Torres had. Do you remember when he headed it onto the bar? Well, I think no, he weren't even on the bar. It was the save from the City keeper. What's his name? Ortega, where he kept it off the line with similar movement. Ball near post from that side of the pitch, in swinging, flick on. So Mings has done the same, flicked it on. It's gone to the back, and then it's come out to Maatsen, who struck it clean. It's like then taken it like a deflection within there. It's popped out from Fabianski and landed at Onana's feet, and then Onana's put it in. Right place, right time. The atmosphere looked mad from when he equalised. And it only felt from that point it was going to go one way. But yeah, it was good. It was good, really good how we then just stepped it up a bit. You know, the tempo went up. It shouldn't take so long, but it did. But once that did happen and it occurred, we blitzed them for like a 10-minute period. It was ridiculous. We really stepped it up. Morgan Rogers started to find his touch and his balance and the elegance that comes with Morgan Rogers. Tielemans' passing was going to free. He was playing through the lines. He wasn't missing a step within the first half. He couldn't do anything right. Maatsen was getting the ball in acres of space and being able to do stuff with the ball. He was having shots, getting high up into the box. And then obviously the subs changed it. I thought JJ was really good when he was getting on the ball in those little half spaces, playing passes to Maatsen. The link-up was reminiscent to what he had with Moreno. That first season under Unai, especially the second half when JJ's relationship with Moreno was quality, and all our effective play and attacking was coming down that left hand side because of their build-up play, and that was reminiscent to that part in that second half between Maatsen and Ramsey. Also, Emi Buendia, lovely play from Buendia. I think that was his best cameo since coming back from his injury. He was dropping into those spaces in between the centre backs and the midfield too, and the gap in between that little box. He was finding pockets of space, and for the second goal, his touch and pass is lovely, and he started to really do that for the game. He was playing through the lines when he was getting on the ball, making the right decision. Emi Buendia, one thing that can be that can go wrong for him is that he can sometimes overplay the pass or take too long with the pass. But at this time, he was making the right decisions, which was really good. And I was impressed with his cameo as well. And then Costa Nadalkovic as well, like he's been put out there, been out the squad for a number of months, come back for the Newcastle game, gets a few minutes there, but got some decent minutes yesterday, and he was good. He was good with the ball. He's rapid and he's got loads of pace, but he was looking to get forward. He made a good challenge as well when they were on the transition after we'd scored the second, which was really good. But yeah, he was decent on the ball, and I remember he beat his fullback as well. So he wasn't afraid to take the man on and whip the ball in as well. So yeah, Nedeljkovic, all the subs' performances were very good, and in that period from the 72nd, we scored the goal there a bit after, before, you know, the last, I think it was up to the 90, and then West Ham really started creating a few things from the 90th in extra time. We were really good, really, really good. The second goal, you know, sums it up perfectly with the play. Olsen being on the ball in the box, the back two, you know, Konsa and Mings were just playing with the ball there. And then Tielemans comes short for it. Konsa passes it to Mings. Tielemans comes short for it, drags the man out. And it's so good from Yuri Tielemans. The space that he has to play that pass through is minimal in terms of the whole area of the pitch. And he's played it through the midfield into that half space between the centre-backs and the midfield. The defender's not dropped onto Buendia, so he has so much time to pick his pass. But what was really good from that was Buendia's touch. He didn't touch it back. He touched it like to the side. So he opened his body. The touch was so good. He opened his body, but the touch wasn't so far away that the defender could come towards the ball. It was the perfect touch. So his body was open. He was playing forward. The centre-back couldn't push on. He couldn't get the ball either because the touch was that good. And then there was just acres of space for Ollie Watkins. And it was nice to see Ollie Watkins decide to move in the second half and run, because we know Ollie Watkins, when he can do things like that. He can create chances. We saw how many assists he got last season. And Ollie can create, and that's what he did. Latched onto the ball. That step over that he usually does, where, you know, he drops that shoulder. I remember he did it to Botman. Was it the start of last season, the first game last season? He dropped Botman with it. Did that like drop of the right and take it with the left. And it's a great run from Morgan Rogers, because at that moment in time, there's like 3 West Ham players in the box, and Rogers is the only player. You've got Matson bombing on the left side. I think, yeah, Nedeljkovic bombing on the right. Emmy's trying to keep up pace, and, you know, Emmy's not the quickest, but after he's played that ball to Watkins, and Rogers is the only one in the box. But Rogers' run is quality. He makes a near post run in front of the centre back. And the thing with Rogers is, I think, even though I think his numbers have been class for what, you know, for the value that we signed him for, but there were still questions about his end product. You know his ability on the ball, the runs he can do. There's one Zidane turn that he did in the second half as well on the edge of our box, which was so good. Took out 2 players, but him to make that run and the awareness, as striker's instincts, which was really good. Where he played at Middlesbrough, he was playing as a 9 at times. But striker's instincts to go in front of the defender. I don't know if Paco's taught him that one, but yeah, it was brilliant. Gets in front of him and knocks it into past Fabianski, and that's the turnaround we needed. It's a quick turnaround, 6 minutes, and we're 2-1 up. It was fast, get the goal, make the subs, score the second. Quality second half, well, second half of the second half. And from that point onwards, I thought, yeah, we're going to win this one. West Ham, for the effort and might, did try and score later on. But we were creating chances. You saw Ramsey hit the post. Oh, what? If there was, last week it was, if there's one player I wanted to score, it was Leon Bailey, because of confidence and him not getting a goal this season. The next player I would have loved to score is Jacob Ramsey. After everything he's gone through. And that is textbook Jacob Ramsey. How many times we've seen him shoot from the edge of the box and just put it away? He's done it a number of times to United. I think he scored one against West Ham, I think, at the Olympic Stadium a few seasons ago. The Arsenal one I remember as well. Like, he's got an absolute strike on him. And yeah, it would have been a great goal, but unfortunately that hits the post, and it would have capped off his great cameo. You know, just him getting a goal as well. But yeah, Buendia had a header from a corner as well. We know how good Emmy is in the air, really good. And yeah, the last 6 minutes really of that game was just West Ham trying to pile it on, trying to stick it on us. The ever so clinical Danny Ings couldn't find the target with his shots, which was brilliant, especially scoring one in the 95th minute. Remember to seeing that a few times under Steven Gerrard. But yeah, they tried to put pressure on us. What I liked was I saw Mings' Insta post after, and he said, he mentioned about it being from the 72nd minute in terms of we actually started playing from that point. And at least they're honest with themselves. They've realised that the first 70 odd minutes was shit. And fair play to the players for being honest with themselves, because it wasn't good at all. But the last 20, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see a lot more, for sure. But yeah, West Ham tried to pile on the pressure. Was nervous because Robin Olsen and coming to claim crosses is not one of his attributes, is it? I know he just can't be trusted. It's mad. He just can't be trusted, and he did spill a couple, but we got over the line in the end. And yeah, that was a good win for some players' confidence within that lineup, especially Robin Olsen as well, for us to go and win that. But yeah, as Dave says, I could do without an Olsen on corners for sure. Yeah, he loves a flap. I thought Flapianski was playing for West Ham, but no, he was playing for Villa for sure. Yeah, Duncan saying Watkins had 4 touches in the first half. He was isolated, but he wasn't moving for the ball either. He wasn't coming short. He was just frozen. I don't know what was going on. His movement, there was just non-existent. Kevin saying, I got to say though, Olsen wasn't at fault for their goal. He's so dodgy, especially on crosses, at chances at the death footings. Jeez, yeah, he's not. The goal weren't his fault. He was just rude to the spot. It was a good finish from Paqueta, put your crossing, but yeah, from claiming crosses and that stuff, it has your heart in your mouth. Robin Olsen does. Duncan also saying Costa defending was solid when he came on. If Olsen flapped any more, he may have taken off. Facts. Duncan saying it was a classic score in your purple patch in the second half. It was quick turnaround, get the job done. Rachel said JJ's goal against Brighton is one of my 5 goals. Facts, because again he'd come back from the metatarsal injury, wasn't it? He'd come back from such a long period out, and he scored that strike in off the post in the 6-1, and he ended up getting injured again. It was, yeah, agree. That is a memorable goal from that season, just because it was the relief of him getting back to fitness and scoring. He just needs another one again, and hopefully he just can remain injury free. Kevin says Onana goal celebration was a bit weird, hard staring at the hole. Don't know, he might have had his girl in the stands. Who knows? He might have been staring over at. But yeah, I think that's Onana's thing, and he does. That's just his celebration, man. I don't know what it's about, but yeah, that's his celebration. So yeah, 2-1 win through to the 4th round of the FA Cup, and that, I don't know what to think in terms of the draw. Do you want a League One side if that happens? Do you really want to go away to a League One side? Do you really want to have one at home? Do you really want another Stevenage? I don't know. Maybe we're a bit more up for it when we play a Prem side, even though saying that we weren't up for it for about 60 odd minutes. Rachel saying, I don't want Blues. I take it or leave it. If we get drawn against Blues, I'm up for it. If we don't, so be it. I take it or leave it. I do miss the derby, and the other side of me, person on that shoulder saying, well, Blues have nothing to lose. Villa have everything to lose in that game. And it's a lose-lose for Villa, because if Villa win, they should be beating Blues. And if Villa lose, well, we know what happens. Duncan saying, I want an easy home draw. League 1-2. We have squad now. Yeah, Rachel, not my thing. Yeah, Rachel, yeah, it is. It's a lose-lose for us, it is. Because if we win, we should beat them. If we lose, yeah, we're finished. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see who we do get in the draw. I don't know. Probably like a mid-tier Championship side where we take it seriously, but they're not the best Championship side at home. Probably take that, because I just don't want the players to slack off. We have to keep it on, and there's potential for that to happen. Kevin saying Plymouth away would be a great away day, for sure. Rachel saying Wickham, double Wickham this season. Wickham League Cup and FA Cup. Get the double. Yeah. We played the kids against Wickham, didn't we? Well, kids and Duran. And I remember JJ was on the bench as well. It was a good performance. Second half again. It took us a while to get going in that one. We started to play a bit, and obviously it was Emi Buendia's first game back from the injury. So yeah, on to the next round, on to the draw. Great to get through. Great night for Friday night. Doesn't ruin your weekend. You can enjoy the rest of your weekend having known that Villa have won and gone through to the next round of the FA Cup. Yeah, we move on. We started the year quite well, haven't we? For some doom and gloom we have in aspects in terms of performances and stuff, in terms of actual results, that makes us, 2 for 2 so far. So, yeah, we've won both our games so far in 2025. Both saying, thanks for joining, both saying Exeter away. Yeah, decent. Yeah, people are wanting those, coastal games. Kevin saying, whoever we play, I don't want Olsen in goals, seriously. I don't think we have a choice. I don't even know if Emmy was actually injured. He was there on the TV screens. He was in the stands. But who knows? Who knows if Unai just wanted to rest him? Unai strikes me with that character. Once a decision's made, that's it. Like you can't talk him out of it. And it would have been a real shame, having seen Emmy's quotes this week about wanting to win so much, if we'd have gone out and he didn't even get the opportunity to represent us in the cup. But he will do in the next round, hopefully. And hopefully we get a home tie against a side which we can look to really dominate. But I can see us getting Man United away, as always is the case. Anyway, that does us here. We've been on for 40 odd minutes or so. Great responses in the chat. I didn't expect this many people on a Saturday night, so really appreciate that. As always, if you could like and subscribe if you're new, thank you for that. And also, we have a membership. If you'd like to become a member, check out the details in the description if you'd like to do so. But yeah, there'll be a preview for the Everton game. Obviously, you've got to have a preview because Moyes is back. Can't believe it. He just had to get his game against Villa this season, didn't he? Obviously, being sacked from West Ham, and that was the first game of the season. He had to get his game in, and it wasn't this Friday. It's going to be Everton at Goodison Park, which is going to be so tricky. But yeah, we will go there with confidence because we've won our last 2 games. Thank you all again. Comments have been great, and as always, appreciate the inclusion from you guys. So yeah, much love for that, and see you on the Everton preview. Up the Villa.